Hey everybody, Joe Vizio. Kind of want to kind of go over some thoughts. Was where to start with this one? Guess I'll start from the start. So my mother kind of milled it down again and ended up having to go to the hospital. Feeling real sick to her stomach, and she's just not. She just said she's just not feeling right. And what I've noticed, and I guess it's just a part of the medical system. My mother doesn't have any money. She's kind of not important in this world, so she's just given some pain pills to kind of make her feel comfortable, and nobody's really doing anything for her. And I understand there's not much you can do with the COPD. Just keep oxygen. The diabetes, take your insulin. But she's kind of been complaining about the real nauseous, heavy feeling in her stomach and pelvis area. And they said that she might have kidney stones and gallstones, which, they don't do anything for her in the hospital. Just give her pain pills and, tell her to consult with a surgeon. And what else they're gonna do, right? But this time they didn't keep her. Actually, they sent her home. But they said that she had something in her uterus. They didn't say what. And they gave her a referral to another doctor. And when we looked up that doctor, it's an oncologist, cancer doctor. So nothing's confirmed. She's got her appointment on Friday to go. But it's kind of a heavy feeling, So, I've seen enough videos and read enough literature about the, when one of these narcissists or borderlines or something like that starts making their exit. And again, nothing's confirmed. But once some of us know these things, and I made a video before about knowing that she's not going to be around much longer, and how I've just have done everything that I can to try and keep the peace and kind of find comfortability for everybody. my daughter doesn't really know the lady that I know. My daughter actually loves her grandmother. And, my mother's really a different person. She, has her little things that I've caught her saying some of the things that she said to me. But, my daughter doesn't understand that. She's got Papa Bear to protect her. So, my daughter loves her grandmother. So, naturally, it kind of brings a whole bag of emotions to me. Am I being too hard on her? I'm an asshole. And then I gotta wrestle with, but what about the stuff that she's done and that she still does and all that. And again, I've made videos about the forgiveness thing, and you guys know how I feel about that. And even in, one of the most recent conversations about forgiveness with my mother, where she was kind of in envy of her sister because her daughter believes in the biblical forgive and forget, forgive no matter what they did to you. I mean, they could murder your dog and you just, okay, I forgive you in the name of the Lord. And it just doesn't work that way for me. I don't think it does. But, I won't get into all that again. To each his own. However you feel comfortable handling situations like that, that's fine. But, one thing that I didn't point out, which is kind of funny a little bit, is that, my mother would absolutely love for me to just forgive her for everything. But my mother's never apologized. My mother's never really admitted any wrongdoing. There's some stuff going on with one of my cousins again, Dominic, and same stuff as before, and it's kind of got my mother and her sister kind of bickering back and forth to each other, and my mother is a little bit trying to point out some of the wrongdoing of my cousin Dominic. And my aunt said to my mother, you're just jealous because my kids do things for me. Which kind of got my mother going. And even my mother said, my son may be an asshole, but at least he's not stealing my money. But, yeah, I guess I am an asshole. So, yeah, I'm kind of there. Again, let me reiterate, nothing's confirmed. My mother's just been referred to a cancer specialist. So, that day when we first talked about it, I was kind of having those feelings, Have I been too hard? Do I need to just let this go? And so for that day, I just kind of, softened my stance a little bit, and Sorry, this guy just pulled right out in front of me, but hey, I'll save you the cursing. And I'm sorry, I'm just kind of stepping on myself over here because I'm really just... So anyway, I just kind of, had myself thinking a lot, and and it was upsetting, and I have one of my customers is a cancer specialist, and I've actually become good acquaintances. I don't want to say friends, but we're always real friendly and talk. But one of the cancer doctors there, actually the doctor that owns the place, and he's the guy that helped me to quit smoking once. Not my past go around, but the time before that, I was standing outside smoking, and he had come out and seen me, and I told him I was just waiting to go to the doctor to get the Chantix and quit, and he was like, well, hell, come on in, I'll write your prescription right now. Kind of did a little exam, to make sure my heart wasn't going to explode, and never asked for a penny. Checked me out, wrote me my prescription, and I guess in his line of work, he kind of sees a lot of that. So you can tell this guy in front of me is kind of really fucking up. I'm trying not to cuss at him. So, anyway, again, I'm just kind of walking on myself here. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit emotional about some of this, and mixed bag of feelings and all that, and so we me and my wife and my daughter, we decided to just get out of the house for a little bit. And I love the thrift stores, so we went to a couple thrift stores, and right there in the Goodwill is an almost exact match of the cot that I used to sleep on when I was a kid. I've mentioned this throughout a few different videos, and there was only like I want to say like maybe a 4 or 5 year period throughout my entire childhood, all the way up until 18 years old. Only about 4 or 5 years that I actually got to sleep in a real bed. Everything else I had was either the cot or a rollaway bed from one of the hotels. And this one here in particular, was a real kind of rickety thing. It was a metal frame with the legs that would fold up and down, so you can fold the bed up kind of like an accordion. It was a metal frame, and it just had wire stretched across the frame that would support a mattress. And they had, I mean, almost exact. And the only reason that I have to say almost exact is because it was such a long time ago. And I could just see the frame and so anyway, I see this thing sitting there all folded up, and it was old too, man. It was was probably from that time period. and I wanted to buy it. It was like $12. And I showed my wife, and I pointed at it, and she looks at it, and then she looks at me, and she says, "Oh, really?" I said, "That's the one." And, you know, when I said, you know, I wanted to buy it, you know, of course, my wife couldn't fathom why I wanted to buy it, but I wanted to buy it just so that I could take it outside and smash it with a fucking hammer. I just take it in the back and throw it in the fucking trash. I didn't do that. Probably would have been better to just buy it and, you know, maybe give it to a person that's in between times right now. I don't. But anyway, here I am, standing in the middle of Walmart, standing in the middle of this Goodwill, and I'm just kind of triggering here now. And I know my whole kind of demeanor has changed, and you know, now I'm upset. And you know, the time that I had that cot, the time that I slept on that cot, my sister had a bed, and I know my parents had a mattress thrown on the floor. So at that time, you know, there was probably no money within the family, you know. My father probably just started his job that rocketed him to the top when his boss kicked the bucket. But it irks me so much, the whole bed situation, because as you know, my father started making money, you know, I did get a bed finally. And I got that bed for like maybe 4 years or so. Maybe 5 years. And then when we came to Florida, I had to leave my bed behind. And there was a promise that, you know, don't worry about it, man. We're gonna get you a new bed down there, and it's gonna be better. And I just watched my father take care of himself, and I slept on the rollaway beds from the hotel. So that's why that kind of bothers me. You know, I mean, you can say on one hand, you know, there's so many people out there that are just so bad in their situation that, you know, they might not even have a mattress to throw on the floor. They might not even have a cot. So at those times, you got to be thankful for what you have. And, you know, that was never really something that really triggered on me until within the past few years when, when I look back at all this and I start putting the puzzle pieces together. This motherfucker made me leave my bed and had me sleeping on hotel rollaway beds while this motherfucker went out and bought himself top of the line. So anyway, after we went to the Goodwill, we stopped over at the pharmacy and picked up my mother's prescription for her and went over to her house to drop them off, and and then my mother is just the neediest person, and I'm trying to just let me turn over a new leaf here for a little bit and just try and be more understanding, but she's just sitting in this, again, a filthy apartment, and just giving my wife lists. Go to the store and get me this and get me that, and stop at McDonald's and get me a cheeseburger and get me, and I'm triggering. I'm triggering hard. I mean, I'm hearing all this, and I'm seeing the visions of that bed, and just, again, it's coming to me. Why do I have to take care of this woman? She didn't take care of me. And my wife can see that there's something wrong with me. My blood pressure's just through the roof, and my wife doesn't know how to handle this sometimes. And I don't know how to handle it sometimes, because even sometimes the way that I talk, and I turn around and I can say something to my wife that probably isn't very respectful. But sometimes when it happens, I just don't even realize that I'm doing it. So, here we go. Me and my wife are we're kind of melting down a little bit with each other, and and I had to tell her, I'm sorry. I was just in there, just triggering like that, and I was just like, I don't even want to say trigger. I was just kind of going into like a full-blown panic attack. And it just irked me that my wife is just sitting there calm. And she's like, okay, and what else do you need? And what else do you need? And my mother's going, and I need this, and you gotta get me a cheeseburger, and I'm just... So, that's kind of that, huh? So, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. And, I want to thank everybody for their videos. Belle Michelle, it's great to see you back. It's nice to see that positive attitude coming out, and I heard you mention something in your video about not wanting to lay some of these things on us, and I gotta tell you, sweetie, you gotta lay it on somewhere. And we're all probably the best kind of sponges to absorb it, because we've all been there. So whenever you want to lay it on us, you got a lot of good people around that are ready to listen to you. So there's always that. And everybody else out there, Cece and Sue and Michelle breaking the chain, and I see Gatekeeper's Hearts back making videos. What a load of. I've been catching your videos. I've been kind of, I guess, quiet, but I'm there, guys, and I appreciate your videos. Honey Badger, same thing. I appreciate everything. Anybody else that I listen to that I didn't mention. Kind of wish Ollie would get out there and kind of make a video, but and don't anybody take this the wrong way, but I think Ollie needs to write a letter to himself and make a video for himself. And but who the hell am I, right? So, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate the ear.